Bonjour, everybody. It's Ryno, and welcome to this week's episode of the Disney Dining Show. This week, I'm going to be joined by Panda, Erica, and Craig, and we are going to be dining at Be Our Guest restaurant in the Magic Kingdom Park at Walt Disney World. This is one of the most searched for restaurants on WDWInfo.com, so we feel like we haven't been here in forever. I mean, I haven't been in years and years and years. I think it was still like a quick service option the last time I was here, and I know the others haven't been here in a while either, so it felt like it was time. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and we're here for lunch. So before we go inside to check out the restaurant and all that it has to offer, I want to remind everybody that this and everything that we do here is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. When you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you help support the channel and all the content that we produce. So check them out, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Now that I have said that, let's get inside. I am starving, and I'm sure the others are just absolutely annoyed with how long it's been taking me to do this little introduction out here. So yummy, yummy, let's get food in my tummy. We are inside of the castle. We have been taken to our seats. For those of you who don't know, this area is, or this restaurant, excuse me, is split apart into three different rooms. There's the West Wing, which is where the Beast, it's like, from the movie, he's like kind of ripped through the curtains, and that's where the Enchanted Rose is. And then there's the Grand Ballroom, which is very pretty. That's where they've got the awesome effect where it's like snowing outside the windows. And then where we are, the Rose Gallery, which to me feels like the room that time forgot. And by time, I mean the Imagineers, because it feels the most basic of the three. But it's still nice. It's still got some of those architectural, like, pillars in here. And, sorry, I think a child just threw their fork at me. And there's, like, this weird clock, not a clock, oh my God, the boxes that you wind up in a music box. That's not what they're called, are they? But anyway, there's a Belle and the Beast that are dancing in the middle of the room here. And then the Beast will make his way through from time to time. They'll make an announcement. And it's elegant, it's grace. I couldn't think of a third rhyme to go instead of saying Miss United States. But anyway, just before we get started here too far, this is a prefix menu. So that means that when you come in here, it's $67 for guests ages 10 and over. It's a 3-course prefix menu, which means you're going to choose one appetizer, one entree, and a dessert. And the dessert is actually a trio of desserts. But we also got some bread. The bread was fine. For my appetizer, I went with the endive, I don't know how to say it, but it's the endive and Roquefort cheese salad, which had pear, gastrique, toasted walnuts, and champagne vinaigrette. And, it was a nice salad. I wish I was a more educated individual where I knew that Roquefort cheese was blue cheese, because I don't particularly like blue cheese, but good thing I was sitting at a table with a guy who loves it. Craig Williams, he loves a good blue cheese. But I will say the salad, I thought presentation was beautiful, and I thought it was great. It was very fresh and nice and wonderful. And I'm not unhappy with my decision, especially since my entree is going to be a pork chop. Before we move on to somebody else, I just also want to mention, I know I said it was a 3-course prefix meal, but there are also libations that can be ordered here, both alcoholic and not. So they have a selection of champagnes and wines, and then also there's a fairly interesting list of beers in here that I feel like aren't just like, there's some beer that you find everywhere, like Stella or, the High Life that's everywhere on Disney property, I feel like. But there's some other like fun German, Belgian beers in here that look pretty good. And then what's kind of fairly new is there were three alcoholic mixed drinks now, which there was a French 75, which if you're not familiar is a gin-based drink. And then there was a Boulevardier, which is a bourbon-based drink, and it has it's not for me. It's a little bitter because of the Campari in it. But and then a Bloody Mary. I feel like the first two, when they were reading the list, I was like, okay, and I was like, oh, okay, like Bloody Marys aren't for me. But I've talked way too much here. I am dining with several other people, and it's time for one of them to talk.
So for my appetizer, I got the potato leek soup. It comes with truffle, potato chips, and a leek fondue. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It's pretty cool. They bring out the bowl with the chips in it, and then they pour over that fondue. And it's like a little chips with some dip. And I liked it a lot. It was very easy to eat. I finished all of it. It was fantastic. 10 out of 10.
For my appetizer, I went with the escargot. Of course, I had to do that. It is baked in garlic herb butter with baguette. And as far as escargots go, this was good. I mean, I mostly eat it on Disney Cruise Line sailing. Other cruise ships, I'll always get escargot. I don't like the one they have in France for some of the festivals. That's not really my style. This was really good. I mean, it was right on the level of what Disney Cruise Line would point out. I mean, very buttery, but the herbs were definitely kicking through there. It was a really nice plate and really good start to this meal.
So I had to get the French onion soup. It is Gruyere, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Gruyere cheese on it. Gruyere. Like Judy Gruyere. It was actually really good. A lot better than I thought it would be, and a lot better than what I've gotten on the Disney Cruise Line. The cheese was nice, it was tasty, and the soup had a wonderful beef flavor, even though it might actually be a vegetarian broth. I know it was when this place first opened. I'll find out, but it was really good. Full of onions, deep, beefy flavor, so I liked it.
As I said earlier, I got the pork chop. In fact, it was called the Duroc pork chop. I don't know what that word means, but it's the description here reads double smoked bacon, sweet potato lyonnaise, and Dijon mustard sauce. I need to tell you right now, I was very I guess I'll get the pork chop, hesitant about it. This thing was banging. This was one of the best. I am not one to order a pork chop. In fact, I don't eat a lot of pork, to be honest with you. This thing was off the chain. It was so good. The sauce, that mustard sauce on this plate, was delicious. This pork chop was super thick. And the side of the sweet potato with the pickled onions on top, and then the cubed sort of crispy bacon. I think it said bacon, but I feel like it was closer to, it's a double smoked bacon. Okay. Yeah, it was a little thicker, kind of, it almost reminded me of really thick pork belly, but it was, texturally, it was amazing. The flavor for everything was good, and this pork chop was cooked perfectly. I cannot recommend this dish enough, and it was like I said, a huge portion. So I'm gonna be thinking about this dish for a while.
So for my entree, I got the WDWInfo spiced vegetables. They come with crispy corn cake, which is actually really good. It was the perfect consistency. And then the WDWInfo coconut juice, I think is how it's pronounced. You want to look at that? Juice. It is a plant-based offering here, and it was actually really good. The vegetables were nice and fresh. It didn't feel like it was sitting for too long, and I really enjoyed it. It's not my favorite meal I've ever had on this planet, but I would come back to get that because it was pretty decent. So if you need a plant-based option while you're eating here, this is the one to get.
So we did a studio dining review in which I kind of trashed Be Our Guest. It's been a few years since I've been here, and I might be taking that back because I did like my appetizer, and I ordered the roasted poulet rouge chicken. I think that's how you say it. And, okay, I only like white meat chicken. It did come with white and dark meat. If you like both, you're going to be fine. It was really tasty, and the white meat, which I like that I usually find dry, was not at all, and it was flavorful. There was little vegetables around it, but it was delicious. It was really good. I just wish it was all white meat, but I'm liking this meal.
Since Ryno went with the pork chop, I decided to go with the filet mignon. I feel like that is one of the most popular menu items here. It is definitely considered the beast's favorite, so keep that in mind. And obviously, too, with the prefix menu, you're kind of looking at the overall price and thinking to yourself, am I getting the value out of the money I'm paying? And with filet, you definitely could. With Erica's vegetable stuff, maybe not. With Panda's chicken, I don't know. With the pork chop or filet, you can definitely get there. But this filet, it's a center cut filet mignon served with Yukon Gold potato puree, mashed potatoes, and smoked tomato béarnaise sauce. And there was also a tomato compote on the side. The tomato compote added a little bit of sweetness. Overall, my steak was cooked. I asked for it medium rare, and it was definitely about medium rare to rare, which is actually how I like it. But I never want to like go all in on rare, and I'm fine if it ends up medium rare. So yeah, the steak was cooked perfectly. It was seasoned nicely, just light on that salt and pepper flavor to it, and it made it extra special once you started dipping it into the tomato béarnaise sauce, which just had like a nice smokiness to it, and didn't overpower the taste of the meat, but just worked well with it. And then also on the plate were green beans. I kept choking on them because I do not chew my food like a normal human being should, but they were fine. They could have been seasoned a little bit, but overall it was a nice plate. Got some veggies, got some meat. I'm happy. But I will say, Ryno's pork chop was the best thing that I tried today in terms of the entrees, and I did have some of the dark meat from Panda's chicken. It was okay. It wasn't great chicken. I would not get that on its own, but you know what? For the most part, the food I've tried, been impressed.
Okay, so for dessert, they brought me over a raspberry sorbet, dairy-free. It's fine. I just wanted to say overall, for the $67 per person plus tax, as a person who has a dairy allergy, I would say it's not super worth it. But if you're coming with your family and this is where you're going to eat, at least you have some options. And the options they have are good, but I just don't think it reaches that price point, in my opinion. But I did enjoy my meal, so at least that's the good side of it all. The dessert, though, I could have lived without having the sorbet. I would have been fine. But everyone else's dessert looked absolutely beautiful. But either way, I had a good time, but definitely not worth that price tag.
This dessert just does not do it for me. The chocolate tart with gray stuff, crisp pearls, white chocolate wafer. It's a fine signature dessert, but it deserves more. And I love cookies and cream. I love a good Oreo cookie, so I like the flavor. It just feels like it's lacking something. Maybe even a little bit more of the crispy pearls would elevate it, but it's not all there. The dark chocolate truffle, I love dark chocolate. This thing can just go away. It is such a waste of calories. The lemon jam macaron, I actually thought that was the best, but ultimately it's like one macaron. And dessert is just all over the place because with this meal, $67, as we probably said 19 times now for guests ages 10 and over, that's a lot of money. Let's be real. For lunch and or dinner, that's still a lot of money, even though it is 3-course. Like the escargot, delicious, and the filet were delicious. The last couple bites I had of that, the crust on there, it was so good. I loved it, but I would say I could get close to that price with just those two parts, the escargot and the filet. The dessert's where it falls apart. It needs something more. They need to do something better. And I think I felt that way the last time I was here. It's fine, but I just want something that feels like it should live up to the meal inside this atmosphere. Because whether or not you're in the main ballroom or in this gallery or the West Wing, you're still in a special place. And I feel like this meal is just close to being special, but not all the way there.
So those desserts are pre-chosen for you. There's 3 of them on the plate. The best one by far for me was the macaron. It was raspberry inside with a little bit of a lemon, I'm told, and I did taste it. It came across. I can't see the lemon, but it was really good. The gray stuff is like frosting. It's okay. All in all, the meal for me was actually good, better than I thought it would be. I didn't eat all of the chicken because I only want the breast, so for $67 it might not be worth it, unless what I probably would ask is if I can get the pan-seared chicken breast off the kids menu onto the dish that they gave me, and I would probably actually enjoy it more. Also, I did find out that the French onion soup was, when they first opened, a vegetarian broth. It is now a beef broth. Makes sense why it tastes so good now.
I think I kind of feel the same way maybe about what everybody did about dessert. It felt like compared to the other parts of the meal, it just felt a little flat. Like it wasn't bad. I liked all three things. The macaron was definitely the standout for me. I love lemon, and it was like lemon raspberry was good. But I kind of feel like it maybe should have had like a scoop of sorbet that came with it, the same way like Erica's meal had that. That was her only dessert, which I would now say that it looks like Erica's meal was 100% not worth the price. Not to say that it wasn't good, it just doesn't feel substantial in the way that it kind of should. But yeah, I kind of wish maybe there was an option. Well, there was an option. I probably should have asked for the plant-based slice of cake, because there was a plant-based cake on this menu that I'm going to tell you about in 1 second here. And that was the vanilla cake with lemon curd. And I love lemon curd. And that came with fresh berries and a strawberry meringue. That sounds like something where I was like, I kind of wish it was just like one thing. Like one dessert, and then your table got some gray stuff or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like it needs to like elevate and meet the rest of the meal, because I liked everything I had here. Nothing was bad. I liked the ambiance. I thought our server Anthony was fantastic. He was very, very nice, very friendly. I thought the meal was like paced very well. And yeah, the beast, we saw the beast come through here while we've been sitting here. We've been here for a while. I feel like we've been here for a while. I don't even want to say how much it was, but how long we've been here. But he came through a bunch, so don't worry about not seeing the beast. But I do want to say that with the annual pass discount, which was, I can't tell you, someone's thumb is over where it is in this picture I was handed. But 10%. The annual pass holder, there is an annual pass holder discount. It is 10%. And with the discount and the tip, the total for the four of us came out to $310. Just over $310, which is quite a bit of money. Especially since there were no alcoholic beverages consumed. And yeah, so it's an expensive meal. I feel like I really enjoyed my meal. So, like, I'm a cheaper person, but if I was like, this was my, like, if I had come just like me by myself and had the meal that I had, I think I'd be like, this was pricey, but it was good. Like, I would enjoy it. But as like a group, I'm like, I don't know. It's up for you to decide, ultimately. Everyone's taste is different, and if Beauty and the Beast is your favorite thing in the world, I think that you'd like the experience. So I think if anyone out there has eaten here before or recently, I'd love to get some feedback. If you're watching the video on YouTube, of course, you can leave comments, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening to us on an audio feed, please feel free to rate and review this podcast wherever you so choose to do that. But that feedback is always welcome and appreciated. And we ask that you not forget about Dreams Unlimited Travel either, because again, they'll help you book a vacation and they can help you set up dining reservations and everything, right? I'm pretty sure they can. So I'm just kidding. They can. But anyway, that is going to do it for this episode of the Disney Dining Show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here. Bonjour. Nope, wait. That's not how you say goodbye in French. I'm an idiot. Au revoir. Au revoir. It's French for yum yum.